What's going on, Giants fans? Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Give me a follow on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. Trying to get to 1,000 followers, and I need your help. So give me a follow at @MarshallGreen_. And today's show, we're going to look at 8 Giants cap cut candidates, a trade candidate, and a way for the Giants to create $37 million in cap space. They currently sit at negative $12 million. So this plan that I have where you could cut 8 players and potentially trade another player, you could create technically more than $37 million. But if they did all of those moves outside of trading the player, which we'll get to, and why I don't think that's actually that likely, the Giants would be sitting at around $25 million in cap space. So let's get to it. The first Giant cap cut candidate, and this might be a trade candidate as well. I could see it going either way for the New York Giants, and that is James Bradberry. Bradberry played pretty good last year, but the prior year when he first came to the New York Giants, he was one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League. And right now, he is set to make $21.8 million for the 2021 NFL season. If the Giants cut him before the June 1st pre-cut deadline, they would save $12 million and they would have a dead cap hit of $9 million. The way that you can do this is you take the cap hit minus the dead money, and that's how much money you would save. Right now, James Bradberry, his contract becomes partially guaranteed. $2 million of it becomes guaranteed on the 18th of this month. So the Giants, they're going to have to make a decision pretty quick if they want to move on from James Bradberry. Joe Schoen, he talked at the NFL Combine today, and he talked about how moves are going to start happening this week. He said he's talked to players' agents within the past week. So expect for moves on the cap cut and the trade candidates to start popping off this week, and maybe it'll be James Bradberry. Take the seat of Joe Schoen right now. Should the Giants trade or cut James Bradberry? If you can save $12 million on James Bradberry, a player that kind of struggled this year, I think it's something that you're going to have to take a look into. But I want to take the pulse of where all of you Giants fans sit right now. Go down in the comments and type Y for yes, or go down and type N for no. I would love to trade James Bradberry. Cutting him would be kind of just a neutral type of move. You would create cap space, but you would also create the same amount of cap space if you traded him. His cap hit right now is just too high, and I think he does still have trade value. I mean, what he's done in the past 2 seasons in the National Football League, and especially for the New York Giants, he's been a good cornerback 1, and if he was a cornerback 2 on a playoff or Super Bowl caliber team, that would be a great defensive backfield. Last year in 2021, he gave up 8 touchdowns compared to just 4 touchdowns in the 2020 season. He was a much better player than in 2020, where only 61% of the passes were completed on him, and he was targeted way less. He was targeted just 91 times in 2020, gave up 56 receptions, whereas this year he was targeted 115 times, and he was caught and had receptions caught on him 71 times. 3 interceptions 2 years ago, 4 interceptions this past year, same number of pass breakups. The yardage is much different. In 2020, he gave up 587 yards, and this year, where he was targeted more and gave up more catches, he gave up 848 yards. When or if James Bradberry gets cut or traded, we'll be breaking it down on this channel, youtube.com/NYGiantsTV. We're a one-stop shop for all New York Giants news and rumors. Things are going to continue to pop up through the NFL offseason. The Giants, our draft coverage is going to be on fire because the Giants, they have top 10 picks in the NFL draft. So you're going to want to stay up to date on all of the things surrounding the Giants. So do it by subscribing to this channel because it's 100% free and we're putting out videos every single day. So if you love the Giants and you're looking for a YouTube channel to watch, we're your guys, youtube.com/NYGiantsTV. Cap cut candidate number 2 for the New York Giants is Blake Martinez. And this one kind of sucks because what he did in his first season with the New York Giants, he was a defensive leader and one of the best players on this defense. But now he's coming off an ACL injury, and his cap hit is sitting pretty high for the Giants in the 2022 NFL season. Right now, his cap hit is $14 million, and if you cut him before June 1st, you save $8.5 million, and you have a dead cap hit of $5.5 million. If you can save $8 million and then maybe pick Devin Lloyd in the first round of the NFL draft, that could be a nice Blake Martinez replacement. And he has big shoes to fill because in 2020, when he last played a full season for the Giants, he was their leader. He was their heartbeat. He was the soul of this Giants defense. He's one of the best run-stopping linebackers in the National Football League, and he proved that in his first season with the Giants. 151 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 sacks. And that's an area where he also can contribute when it comes to rushing the passer. He can line up over nose guards or on the edge. He is great when it comes to getting after the passer. He struggles a little bit in coverage, and due to that ACL injury, I could see that coverage ability kind of taking a hit back next year if he were to be on the Giants. Ideally, you would want to restructure Blake Martinez because he is still a really good player. We're going to have to see what he looks like after the ACL injury and how he bounces back. But if he can even give you 80% of what he did in the 2020 season, this is a player that the Giants are going to want to keep around. He's a leader, he's a captain, and he is just a great run stopper and a prototypical linebacker in a Don Wink Martindale defense. Another move the Giants can make, Giants cap cut candidate number 3 is Sterling Shep. Cutting Shep would hurt for me. Right now, he is the longest tenured New York Giant, and he kind of just bleeds New York Giants blue. For as long as I can remember, Sterling Shepard has been a Giant, and he's the one that's been there the longest. Unfortunately, he has a cap hit of $12.4 million, and he's coming off that Achilles injury, and it's just injury after injury for Sterling Shepard. If you cut him before June 1st, you save just $4.5 million. But if you wait until after June 1st and you decide maybe, hey, we don't want to use this money for free agency, we want to use the savings on Sterling Shepard to sign the draft picks, the 2 top 10 picks we're going to have, maybe this is the play. If you cut him after June 1st, you save $8.5 million. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money you could save on Sterling Shepard, a guy that's played in just 28 games in the past 3 seasons. What's the old saying? The best ability is availability, and Sterling Shepard has just not been that for the Giants in the past couple of seasons. But when he's on the field, he's a great receiver. It's just too often that he's not on the field. I'd love to keep him around, but with that cap hit and the type of money you could save by cutting him pre or post June 1st, I think this is a move that the Giants and Joe Schoen, unfortunately, are going to have to make. But take the sheet of Schoen. Pick one to cut. Is it Sterling Shepard? Is it Blake Martinez? Get down in the comments. These are 2 guys that I think offer similar things on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. They're leaders, they're captains, and they bleed Giants blue. If you want to cut Sterling Shepard, go down and type SS, or if you want to cut Blake Martinez, go down and type BM. One thing you're going to want to do is go to chatsports.com/Giants hoodies. We've got all types of hoodies on sale. This one was $65. Now it's on sale for just $48. And we've also got this one. I really like this one. It was $70. Now it's on sale for $52. And the thing is, when you go to chatsports.com/Giants hoodies, there are more hoodies on sale that you can go and get. So go get a hoodie for the remainder of the winter weeks. Look good and stay warm. Chatsports.com/Giants hoodies. Giants cap cut candidate number 4, and I think this one's pretty obvious, is Kyle Rudolph. He just really didn't have much of an impact at all in his first season with the Giants, coming over from the Minnesota Vikings. Jason Garrett, he tried to deploy more of a 2 tight end offense this past year, and it just did not work out. And Kyle Rudolph is a shell of himself. And right now his cap hit is $7.4 million. And if you cut him before June 1st, you save $5 million. That is a sizable amount of money. And an area of need is tight end for the Giants, but with a $5 million savings of cutting Kyle Rudolph after he did this last season is a move that I think Joe Schoen is going to make, and Brian Dable, he's going to be right on board with it. He gave you just 26 grabs last year at a 10 yards per pop, 257 total yards, 1 touchdown. Rudolph at one point was one of the best tight ends in the National Football League, but this past year, that was just not it. He's still a solid run blocker and someone that can be used in red zone packages, but at the end of the day, I grew tired of seeing Kyle Rudolph receive more red zone targets than Kenny Golladay. I want Kenny Golladay to pretty much get every ball that Kyle Rudolph got last year, so at the end of the day, I think Kyle Rudolph will no longer be on the Giants next year. We'll review the 4 cap cut candidates before getting to one trade I think the Giants could look into and 4 other cap cut candidates. James Bradberry, a great defender, but I think he's going to be gone whether it's a trade or a cut. I can see the Giants restructuring Blake Martinez, or if they want to save $8.5 million, they could cut him. Sterling Shepard, I doubt he'll be a pre-June 1st cut because $4 million isn't that much of a savings, but if you wait till after, you save $8 million. And Kyle Rudolph, I think he is ultimately as good as gone. A trade candidate and some buzz around Logan Ryan has started to heat up. If you trade him after June 1st, you save $9.25 million in cap space. You have a dead cap hit of almost $3 million. But if you can save $9 million by trading Logan Ryan, it would almost be a good idea, and something I think the Giants will do is attach a draft pick to get him off their roster. You could use this money after June 1st to sign your draft picks, and if you can clear that type of money, this is a move that you might want to look to. Another guy they could cut is Darius Slayton. His money just jumped because of the playing time and how well he's played on his rookie deal being a 5th-round draft pick. It jumped all the way to $2.5 million, and if you cut him, you save that, and you only have a dead cap hit of $58,000. Then Kaden Smith, coming off that knee injury. I'm a Kaden Smith fan. I always liked him as a tight end 3. I think he's good in the run game, and he's also someone that can get out on passes and create some type of yards after catch. But at the end of the day, if you can save $2.5 million with no dead cap hit by cutting Kaden Smith, you got to make that move. Then Riley Dixon, the punter, a player we saw far too often last year with Joe Judge's favorite player. You save almost $3 million if you cut him, and a dead cap hit of just $300K. I think he is also just as good as gone. Then Devontae Booker. He has some fans here with the New York Giants. I argued with some people in the comment section during the season that some people said he was just as good as Saquon Barkley. That's not the case. Saquon Barkley's a much better player. Booker just made the most out of his situation last year, and if you can save $2 million with a dead cap hit of $1 million, you might have to make that move. All of these moves we've mentioned, the 8 cap cut candidates outside of the Logan Ryan trade, that would create $37.5 million in cap space, and that would bring the Giants' cap space, which is currently negative $12 million, to a positive $25 million, and that would be 13th in the NFL. Yeah, you'd be kind of gutting the roster, losing some big players like Sterling Shepard, James Bradberry, and Blake Martinez, but at the end of the day, you have to fix this cap situation, and if you can put yourself in a position where you have $25 million to spend on your draft picks and maybe an offensive lineman in free agency, I think you'd be sitting pretty well heading into the 2022-2023 NFL season. But give me someone you think the Giants should cut. We just gave you 8 guys on top of the Logan Ryan trade, 9 different guys that the Giants could move on from to create more cap space. I want to hear you in the comments section, so be loud, give me your answers. Name someone the Giants should cut to create more cap space. And give me a follow on Twitter, guys. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers, and I need your help. And I only really want Giants fans to follow me. So if you love the Giants and you're looking for more Giants content on Twitter, I'm your guy. Give me a follow at @MarshallGreen_.